Creation Paradise, the channel. Here we have a spiritual Twitter personality called WhoAmI. Welcome, my friend.
Hi, David. Thanks for having me.
He's from Pennsylvania as well, aren't you, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So we were just saying, we're talking about solipsism. We're only experiencing life from these individual human perspectives. There's one creator, and I liken this to Leonardo da Vinci. We could think of each human being as a painting or a creation from Leonardo. Imagine the Mona Lisa experiencing Leonardo's creativity as another one of his paintings or creation. So I and this man here are creations from supposedly the same creator.
I completely agree with you with the creation and everything. The one difference in how I see it is that there is only one, non-duality. So does creation really exist? You know what I mean? Because everything's the same thing. The illusion of creation exists. You know what I'm trying to say? It's basically one thing experiencing itself in the illusion of many different things.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. Could you expand a bit more on that? Because I think I see where you're going.
That's just what I've experienced. That everything is one. Everything's the same thing. So I like to look at this life as basically a play, a movie, if you will. That we're here to experience that which we cannot otherwise. I see us all as awareness, and in awareness, there really is no individual experiencing, if you will. So God, if you will, is everything. And this life is meant to experience everything from different perspectives. But I see it all as God. Once again, I don't like that term God, but we'll use it for now.
I like to use it for brevity, quickness,
Correct. Yeah. I like the term more flow, the great mystery I use a lot. Awareness, I'll use that a lot as well. But you're right. People don't tend to know what the heck you're talking about then. So God's a much better word for that. But yeah, it's everything's just God seeing and experiencing itself. It's a play, a movie. So that's how I see it, at least.
Yeah. I mean, today I've been quite frustrated with just like realizing I have no control over my emotions or thoughts. So, I mean, have you managed to mitigate that in your life?
Not 100%. I believe that I have. There was a time where I did, yes. But I believe I've severely limited it. I'll say that. With the realization that there is no you, it slowly starts to subside. Now, what I find is that when something tragic happens or something, that evokes very high emotion, it comes back. It keeps coming back until you take yourself out and say, hey, wait a minute, who is it that's thinking this? Who is it that's feeling this? And you bring your awareness back, and slowly those feelings fade away. But no, I haven't been able to do it 100%. I don't know that we can. And the other thing is, I don't know if we'd want to. like I said before, we're here to experience, at least this is my view, we're here to experience that which we are not. Um, so that completely gets rid of what we're here to do, I feel. Um, if people talk about getting rid of suffering, well, if you get rid of suffering, you get rid of the joy. That's the only way to do it. I think more of the the answer is to find joy in the suffering. Once again, we go back to this movie, this play, and to realize that, hey, you're just watching it happen. You're just watching it unfold. It's not happening to you. And finding joy in that, just like people watch sad movies and, they enjoy that. I think that's more where we're supposed to be. But, I could be wrong. I don't know. That's just how I see it. I can't see that ending suffering would be, we'd be walking around as awareness. We'd have no ups, we'd have no downs, we'd have nothing. And I can't see that's what life is about.
Yeah. So I've heard there's bliss is apparently the word bliss is like neither suffering or joy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it would be like, I think. Just yeah. I mean, in my opinion, I think I would like to be in bliss all the time. Yeah. So like the view of I can't have good without bad. Yeah, I think that could be transcended, and yeah, I think that can be transcended.
I have experienced that for a short time, so I know it can happen. Uh, my question is not really, or my statement is not really, can it happen, but do you really want it to happen? I guess that's more of um, my statement. It is bliss, like you talked about. But words can't describe it. It's nothing and everything at the same time. Um, there's no words to describe it. I kind of call it a void. I kind of call it almost being like drugged in a way because you're completely out of the human experience that you are. So
Yeah, this is crazy stuff. Yeah, dude, man, like I'm reading a book right now which is about the evolution of humans, and it's kind of tying in to this. So it's just like we're apes. I'm very confused, to be honest. How about there's this 4-step process that my friend Tarun introduced me to. He's also on this channel, and so it goes like this: the first step is are we objects? So like, am I this? I say no, right? Or do you say?
no, yes,
And
definitely
then
no.
and then the next one is, am I the body? And then I mean there's usually some hesitation, but and then the next one is, am I the mind? But the fourth step is realizing that no, I am perceiving all of this. I am that which perceives mind activity and the body. So, and that is like the infinite, empty, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're definitely not the mind. You're definitely not the body. Uh, you're not your feelings, and it's so hard to get to that. That's what I was talking to you about before. Is how do you get to that? I stumbled upon this. It smacked me in the face. I know meditation really does help with this. When I lose this at times, I'll meditate, and that it brings you back. If you connect with your awareness, you actually see this. But in your day-to-day life, it's hard, man. It's hard, especially when those um, crazy feelings come up. It's you always say it's me. It's happening to me. It's. I think it's natural almost. Um, I have not had that ego death or whatever you want to call it. Um, you know, I'm
Yeah,
not there yet.
yeah. There seems like there's many meanings of the word I, isn't there? I get caught up, and like I who, what do I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
I
you
think.
asked me.
Sorry,
I,
go.
I was just going to say, you asked me, how I wanted introduced. I'm thinking to myself, how do I want introduced? It doesn't matter. Who am I? I'm
Yeah,
there's, I don't know. The only reason I take a name is because, you unfortunately have to. The same with the I. It's, this language is so limited that even when you're talking about this stuff, you come off in a completely different way because you have to use the duality of the language. It's
yeah.
just one of those things.
I think it's quite difficult carrying this sort of non-dual stuff into culture right now, because like there's billions of humans, there's billions of people, and the norm is to have a name and to
Hmm.
believe that you're separate from everyone, and it's crazy stuff. I think we have to be quite courageous. That's what I really want to like press on. If as I evolve in my career, I want to become more courageous myself, and because it has no importance. Like it's only relative to the life of a human, the suffering
Hmm.
that we all have. But to this David here, it's very important. You know, so yeah,
It's only important it's only important as much as you say it is, though. I try to let go of all that. I can honestly say, I'm not trying to go anywhere or do anything or accomplish anything. Um, I'm just being right now. That's my whole goal. And after I got into this search, um, it was so hard. You want to accomplish this. You want to get here. You want to get there. You want to do that, and you keep searching and everything. But I don't know. I'm just at the point now where it's like just gonna let it be, and where I'm gonna be, I'll be, and eventually it's gonna come, just like that initial smack in the face. But
yeah. Ah, yeah,
people in general, how do we get them to see this non-dual world? Um, this world gives birth to it. The whole world, everything about it, from ownership to your name, um, it's all about it. So the world would have to completely change to recognize this, unless it happens organically, just spontaneous, without our doing. Like I said, we can point, but it's always mine, mine, mine. It's always protect what's mine. Um,
yeah,
and it's not always about you either. It's about your kids and your mom and your dad and all this, your wife. Um, I think all of it's an outdated system, really. Everything that we know is pretty much outdated. And I think it'll eventually change. If we keep moving forward, if this catches on and this keeps going, I think everything's going to change. Everything. It has to.
yeah. I think the internet is crazy for this. It's only been like 20 years, and we can spread information all around the world.
Yeah.
instantly. Like, how are we doing this? Look at this. This is crazy. What's actually happening right now? Yeah, I have faith in what's going to happen. But it does take like courage for anyone who watches this, because I don't have an audience right now, but later on, it takes courage, dude.
So what are you taking courage in? What are you having faith in, though? You're having faith that things are going to change.
Okay, so the courage parts is the realization of immortality, through the realization of infinite time, and that has to be kind of trusted. It's like there's a reason why I wouldn't put myself out there would be due to inner child stuff, things I believed. I created beliefs that I would get hurt or something if I did that, But this is all predicated on the belief that I can die, which is all predicated on the belief that I am a separate being,
Correct. Yes.
So yeah, in religious terms, this would be called trust in God, I think. So that's the courage. And then the faith. What I have faith in is the enlightenment of mankind. There's a massive... Sorry.
I was just going to say, when I hear people say these things, I still think this is a separation. Who is it that's having faith, and in what? There's some type of separation there. Who is it that's surrendering into what? Who is it that
You got a point.
is in having courage and do what? I think I like the word acceptance, but it's still the same point. It's not. It's an acceptance. Who's accepting and what? It just is. I think that's how you kind of have to see it. It just is. There's no doer. There can't be. It just is. It's so hard to talk about these things, but I guess you understand what I'm trying to say.
I got like a millisecond of understanding of, I think, like, dude, like, it just is, like, doing it is just is, isn't it? So like, before doing and after doing occurs in the same moment. Is that... do you...
Well, yeah. There's no before or after, but there's no doer. Just spread your arms and fly. That's why I like the term flow for God, or for whatever that we are flow. The suffering, the duality comes in trying to control that. Life moves regardless. It does, and it sounds like it's the separateness again, but you are the flow. Be the flow. Let it take you. Whatever happens, happens. It is. That's the best words for it. It is.
Yeah. That's great what you just said. Yeah.
It's really hard to, like I said, wrap your head around this. You can listen to all these YouTube channels and read all these books and meditate and everything, and it's almost like until something smacks you, you can't get it. And then even after you see it, you're still like, what? you still don't fully get it. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I look at it as everything's kind of in phases. It was for me, and after I saw it, then I tried to grasp it, and now I'm just kind of at this stage where it is. I don't know. Is that the final stage? I don't think so. Where's it going? I don't know. And I don't think it's the same for everybody either. Everybody has their own different paths, and they're all unique, and they're all going to lead you to the same place. But I almost feel like the doing holds us back. If we just let go, if we just be, if it just is, it will happen.
Yeah. Yeah. What, like, I'm just wondering why can't I do that? You know, like, why can't I just be? Like, I suppose doing and being surely can happen or are happening at the same time, right?
Well, you're always being. Uh, there's no action required for being. Um, and really, there's no action required for doing. It's all an illusion, really. Um, so technically, I mean, you could do anything you want to do because it's all an illusion. Just that's where I think a lot of people are into manifestation and whatnot. And does it work to a point? But it's all illusion that it works. There's no doer. So if it is, it is. It gives the appearance of it working, of it creating. Uh, that's how I see it.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't know where to go with that.
No, yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. I got an addiction to doing. I just want to be, you know.
Well, I think we all do. Uh, that's what makes this. That's what makes this fun, really, is being able to do everything you can do. And that's why I was trying to say. I don't know if it's about transcending the doer, transcending the suffering, the joy, but more about just watching it and enjoying it. You know, um, realizing that you're not the doer. Things are still going to happen. You're still going to get upset. You're still going to get, feel joy. You're still going to go to work or whatever you're going to do. It's going to happen. But just watching it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. That's helpful. Because in a confrontation, I can just watch it. Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things is the ego is that fight or flight, and it really comes out in intense situation. Uh, can you watch it when beating the crap out of you or whatever? It's that's that would be the transcending. But when those things happen, it just it's hard. But like I said, I think you can shorten the time at least. Where something happens, and I think it's natural to say, "Hey, this is me. It's happening to me." But uh, the more you practice it, and the more you get with it, the quicker you realize, "Hey, it's not me." And I tell you what, the biggest thing for me is pain, physical pain. I would love to know how to get out of that because physical pain, it always says, "This is me. I'm hurting." So um, it's just such a strong connection right there that hey, I'm hurting. How can you get past that, especially if it's intense? Um, I don't know. Finding joy in that is tricky. I tell you what.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I suppose like you could observe the intelligence of what's going on, you know. I suppose because like we're genius inventions, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
The fact that pain even happens, pretty crazy. One of the questions that I have in my own mind as well is like life seems to be a like infinite mind, right? Have you heard that before?
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, then I just don't know how parts of the mind are attributed to separate human beings. Yeah, I think it's what I was talking about before. It's like, how come I can only experience my end? And do you know what I mean?
You're asking the wrong person about that. I have no idea. Uh, but that's how it is, and like that goes back to what I was saying before. Is that's what I think we're here to do, is to experience that which we're not. That's why we all have this individual experience, this individual play, if you will, that that we get to experience and live. Um, Stuff like that, I don't question because that's really beyond knowing, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I think you almost drive yourself crazy with questions like that. You just go in circles. The possibilities are endless, and it just leads to more questions and more questions. Um,
Yeah.
you should have caught me. You should have caught me a couple months ago. I was into answering all the questions then. Now I'm more into just letting them be. um, like I said, I was searching for all the answers. I think kind of how you are, and thinking about all this crazy stuff, and what if, and how does this work, and everything. And um, I don't know. Eventually, all the questioning led to one answer, and that answer was there are no answers. That's what happened to me. Uh,
Okay. Wow. It's a paradox. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
don't get me wrong. I still have my beliefs and 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 feelings and thoughts and whatnot, but um, I'm just I'm open. There's nothing that's definitive. Um, I'm not going to call anything truth because my experience has been that truth is only good as long as it is, and it seems like it's the truth today changes tomorrow, uh, whether it's in your mind or in this world. Uh, it's always changing. So is there one static truth? Uh, the only thing that I've experienced and that I feel right now is awareness, is love and non-duality. Uh, that's all I'm really ready to commit to and say that, hey, this is the truth, but this is the truth is only as far as I know it too. So as far as I've experienced it. Uh, but other than that, I'm an open book, an empty book. Um, I don't know.
Okay. I'll ask some some less deep questions. Less sort of fucking crazy Who are your favorite spiritual teachers?
This is you're probably not gonna like this answer, but I try not to listen or read anybody.
Fair enough, I understand.
The reason being is because, at least for me, I feel like I kind of get indoctrinated in different things if I read or whatnot. Where does I like to try to keep my thoughts as much to my experience than to others. Um, I can't help but read other things, definitely, especially on Twitter. You know, a lot of people post different quotes and whatnot. Um, so I do get some of it, but I try not to read a whole lot for that reason. I don't want to be skewed in any way by anybody else's experience. I have my own, and there's a reason for that. I do find it quite unique and interesting, though, that my experience aligns with a lot of other people's. So that there kind of tells me that there's some kind of truth in it. Um, but yeah, I haven't really listened or read to a whole lot of any of the greats, if you will. You know, that's why I actually like Twitter better. It's you get all these different insights, all these different experiences. Um, I don't know. You can learn so much from that. You really can if you open yourself up. You know.
Yeah, that goes with the point of social media and like internet, like all of these perspectives coming together.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose after all of this spiritual stuff, I think it has, because at some point I'm going to have to be like, okay, look, I don't know, or there's no answers or whatever. Then I suppose we go on to the just playing in this playground that we call life, right? Creating businesses and fun stuff. What stuff do you do for fun?
I camp. I enjoy the outdoors. Um,
Yeah,
anytime I can be outside, I like to be outside. Um, I enjoy Twitter a lot. I enjoy that, and you know, I do the normal things. I play games. Uh,
what games?
I love playing anything. I love playing strategy games, cards. You know, football, whatever. It doesn't matter. I like playing. You know, everything. Um, just kicking back and having fun. I mean, it's kind of weird because before I went through my experience, I I hated my job and I wanted to quit it. And all of a sudden, everything's fun now.
Yeah,
It's kind of weird. It's like it's just a job, you know, but make the most of every moment and enjoy every moment because there's joy to be had. It's joy to be found. It's just your thought process about it and everything. So. Um, It's funny because I actually said to my wife the other day, we were driving up the road going to a birthday party. I think it was on Sunday. And I looked over at her and I said, "Are you having fun?" She looked at me. She said, "What do you mean? Am I having fun? We're driving in the car." I was like, "I'm having a blast." And she just
uh,
couldn't fathom this, you know. But I
yeah,
was like, "I'm serious, you know. I am having a blast right now. Yes, I'm 2 minutes from the house, just driving up the road to a birthday party I really didn't want to go to, but I went and, you know, I was having a blast at that moment. She just thought I was crazy. So,
that's amazing though. Don't need to do anything, you know.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the biggest things. I always had it in my head, hey, I got to do this to be happy. I got to do this to have fun. I'm not happy or having fun now because I'm not doing that. Well, I can find happiness sitting on the couch in the same spot for hours on end doing nothing. You know what I mean? It's really amazing. It's that's I could say about that. It's just, I don't have to do anything. You just have to enjoy what is. Once again, it goes back to what is. So,
Yeah, dude, it links with what you were saying about how you can enjoy watching bad emotions.
hmm
So, I mean, the next time I'm like, "Ugh," or I don't know, I'm down or something, I'm gonna watch it and just sort of enjoy it, I suppose. Yeah, because I've done that before. I've proven it to myself that I can do it. So,
it's enjoyment. Uh, Enjoyment's a weird word. I don't know if I'd use. I mean, I think that's the word I use, but uh, it kind of is enjoyment, though. I don't know what a better word to use. Uh,
yeah.
I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Do you mean like the emotions don't change, but you are enjoying it in a way?
Correct. Yeah, and that's kind of how my experience of awareness was too. It's like it's this static, but it's not a static. Um, it's not a static up or down, happy, blissful joy. People call it all those different things, and I wouldn't call it that. But it's not negative. It's it's not positive, but yet it is joy. It's so hard to explain.
I
Uh,
think that is what I was calling bliss. I think that
okay.
is.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I don't think there's really a word that can describe it because when I hear bliss, I hear all happiness and all this stuff, but it's not really happiness. Um, it's the same thing when I say a lot about awareness, God being awareness or love or that being the only truth. I'm not saying love in the feeling, but
Mm,
I'm saying um, just acceptance. Um, just the awareness of what is the deepest love that there is, but it's not a feeling of love. If you can make sense of that, it is. Trying not to change anything. Um,
yeah. I mean, that is when you accept someone and truly as they are. That is love, isn't it?
hmm
For example, and I suppose when we accept the state of how things are, like exactly as they are, even emotions, then there's nothing that you're not accepting. When that is the case, then that must be just abiding in love.
Yeah, but once again, that's not a feeling because if it was, it wouldn't be love. If that makes sense. And the love on the physical, it's
Like metaphysical love, like not an emotion, right?
correct. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like the fabric of reality. That's what I've heard. But yeah, I think I just want a load of people to experience things like we're talking about. So that's my little mission.
hmm
So yeah,
That was originally one of the reasons I started my Twitter account was to try to change and spread the word and all this stuff. And it just evolved into what it is now. And, uh, you asked me what my intentions were, where I was going, my goals and everything. And I don't have any. It just is. And right now it's more just for my, communicating to one another. And uh, it would be great if this catches on and goes. And there's no doubt about it. Um, but once again, do I have anything to do with it? I let that go. I don't. I really don't think I do. I can point all I want, but and maybe someone will get it along the way, but did they get it because of me? They can't. There is no me, you know?
At the same time, because like when there's nothing, like everything is at the same time, right? So in one sense, one side of the coin is there's no me, then the other side is all there is me.
Hmm.
But you agree with that?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that's cool.
Definitely. Um, that was, that's, I remember talking about that not too long ago that, people think of selfishness as a bad word, and there's no one else. So it just, be selfish, but it's all in how you take that too. If
Yeah,
you see yourself as just you, well then selfishness is not the way to go. But um, if if there's just one,
mm.
yeah, be selfish, because that ultimately means there's love. You're just giving. Uh,
Yeah, like treating others as yourself is the least selfish thing you can do.
hmm.
That's interesting, actually, because the most selfless thing you can do is to treat everything as yourself. So that points, I think, to the fact that the self that we're talking about is the lowercase s self. So yeah, yeah, just chilling out, just chilling out.
That's all there's to do.
What's it like in Pennsylvania? What do you get up to day to day?
What do I do day to day?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
right now it's cold outside, so I don't cooped up a good bit. Working, going to people's houses, whatever, volunteering when I can. But yeah, I hardly get outside. I think the high today is like 30 something degrees Fahrenheit. So, but in the summer, I'm outside all the time. Whether it's just a short little walk after work or camping for the weekend or whatever, I'm just always outside. Uh, it's nice here in the summer.
Man, so cool. Breathe that air. Yeah. I mean, here, I just, I'm just in my house and sometimes go out. But I'm working on this business, I really want to, I want to speak in front of people about this kind of stuff.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure I could do a really good job at it. But today, I was just realizing, like, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. Like, I had experience, but like, it's just not. It's not like it's not rock solid. So
I think that's good though.
yeah,
I mean, I think that's. I think you need to just let that be.
yeah. That's always the answer, isn't it? Like,
It is. It's not a cop out. I think that's
uh,
the answer.
yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, like I just can't take belief for. I'm not gonna just believe this stuff. I don't want to just spout beliefs.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah. So like, sorry, Carol.
that definitely is. I know what you're talking about. Um, when I first learned about all this or experienced or whatever, it's you search and everybody's telling you something different, and everybody has their own experience and their own views and everything, and it kind of some of it just feels like a belief. You're not real sure of yourself, um, but then something happens where it just where the belief falls away. You know. and you just be again. It just is. uh,
Hmm.
Stepping stones. It's just there's a process to all this. At least that's been my experience. It's nothing's been overnight, and at times I felt like I was going crazy. Uh, questioning different stuff. At times I felt like I didn't know anything, and I had to, look under every stone and whatnot. And
Yeah, we are on the fringe of society, aren't we?
I will say this: I don't know anybody in my Pennsylvanian world that there's nobody I talk to about this. It's a rather lonely place. At least it was. I felt real lonely for a long time, and that was another reason I started my Twitter account. There's so many people out there talking about this stuff, but I know of no one personally. So and
Yeah,
when I bring it up, people look at me like I have two horns or something.
yeah, yeah. I found that the internet is great for talk about this. I found a friend called Tarun last month. We've been talking, chatting it up about enlightenments, and I'm sure I'll find many others. And of course, new friend here. So nice to have a chat.
Yeah, definitely.
It can be lonely, and as you said, can feel like you're going crazy. But yeah, I think some of us are suffering, and some of us are just very curious who start the enlightenment path. I remember being 16. I was the stoner kid, had the long hair and a snapback hats, smoking marijuana. You know how it goes. Started skating, wasn't very good, didn't carry on. So I just did it for the looks. But there was the part that was rebellious, and yeah, I just wanted to know the truth. Like the school, like just teaching me random things to memorize. So it just pissed me off. So yeah, got into personal developments and then spirituality. So that's how that happened. So
I think that's something definitely that would be whether or not we affect consciousness or not, uh, and have everybody experience this or grow this. Teaching meditation in schools, teaching awareness in schools would be phenomenal. I mean, it would change the world. It definitely would. There's no doubt about it. To teach people, to be not so reactive with things, and the knowledge that's obtained too from awareness. It's amazing that people can't put themselves in other people's shoes. They can, they only see this and they block everything else out, and this is it. It's all that would change, and I think that is something you can teach definitely. Um, so I'm all for that.
that's one of the big things that I want to fucking do with this business. It's one of the massive things. But the thing is with that is like it it's it's extreme because like if all the children are meditating, there has to at some point be recognition that we are all one. And I mean, how are we going to stuff that down? And there is a lot of money. There are trillions, like, well, probably, I don't know, invested into our belief that we are separate. But then I think, well, the business people, all they want is happiness, so they'll come round. 'Cause they are humans like us.
And then you get to the point though that can this world exist with everybody, meditating and everybody realizing that we're one, uh, and not seeing the duality, and not because that's what this world is. It's polar opposites. You can't have one without the other. So what happens if that does happen? Um,
What do you mean by can this world exist?
well, the world as we know it, this world is the dualistic illusion. Um, it doesn't exist without that. So if everybody comes to this and feels this and thinks this and embodies this, where are we at? Because we sure aren't here.
So you're saying, um, you're saying, because like my experience right now, uh, I would still experience what I'm experiencing, even if I believed that my identity was merged with everything.
Well, correct. I thought you were talking more about transcendence, if you will. If uh, I look at that, I look at that differently. You can be the watcher. So you're talking about everybody just being the watcher.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I got a bit confused. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think meditation in schools would solve bullying, it would solve addiction, pretty much all these things, jealousy, war, all hatred. I mean, it depends how we teach it. So yeah, there are organizations currently which are quite big, like Mind Valley and Gaia, which seem to be paving some sort of path. Yeah.
There's always a resistance. There has to be resistance. There has to be an opposite, though.
What do you mean?
Well, the farther you go one way, the pendulum swings back just as equally the other way. Um, I don't know that people want to have peace in this world, and I don't. I think doing anything, you can never acquire peace. Peace can only be found in the acceptance of what is. So teaching this may be a noble goal, but can it acquire it? I mean, I don't think it can. Something will happen. There's going to be some type of backlash. Everything has an equal or opposite reaction, per se. So, I mean, it's the same thing. We always try to do good things, and what happens? Something happens that we didn't intend or that we didn't expect. Uh, so once again, these are just my thoughts. This is where I'm at, and I'm not saying it's a wrong view or whatever, but I think the right thing to do would be to try to if you're willing to, if you want to change things, but change it with acceptance, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Not trying to accomplish anything, letting the flow change things, letting the flow work through you, being the flow and just being natural.
Yeah.
Once again, we get back to this doer relationship that is really the cause of the pain and the suffering, the separation. So, how can there be peace when there's separation?
Yeah.
It goes in circles.
I think, uh, like what you were saying with like making a change, but at the same time accepting the state of affairs. I think that is pretty. That's good. Yeah. Because I mean, if we came in, whoever wants to make a change, like goes in all guns blazing, it would be like a spiral dynamics stage red, where it's just like I'm a tyrannical leader. For example, like someone in a family wants to make a change, I'll just take away all of your things, or I'll do something horrendous. But
Mm-hmm.
stage yellow, more integrative. So what I would do, I'd go into a school, I'd talk to the headmaster, and I'd be like, "This is what meditation can do." Blah blah blah. Obviously, much more thought out, but um, it would be like not. I wouldn't call anyone out on what they're doing in an insultive way. You see, like, because that's just, that's not cool. Yeah. But I'm 19, so I'm patient.
Oh wow. Okay.
How old did you think I was, man?
I had
How
no
old?
idea.
This
I'm bad.
facial hair, I know.
What's that?
Facial hair
Oh, yeah, yeah.
is pretty cool. Anyway, but yeah,
Normally, 19-year-olds aren't. At least that's been my experience. Aren't real interested in the spirituality. So that's awesome, man. You're getting a jump start here.
yeah. I give myself a lot of pressure. But anyway, what am I talking about? I'm talking about a separate self here. So, you know, yeah. So like the realization of we are each other. This is insane. This is world changing. It's world changing. I wouldn't have been bullied, or I wouldn't have felt any insecurity in school if this was the foundational belief. So, and I think what we can do here, because these bodies probably aren't going to survive until this big, like, until all of this stuff we're talking about materializes or whatever. I think we can set up things so that it does happen. That's, if I don't do what I want to do in this life, that's what it's going to be anyway. So, setting up.
So what happens when when you try to we implement this meditation and the awareness, and people come to the realization that we're all one, and then you have somebody that uh, comes to this realization and I guess doesn't care or still gets engulfed by the self. And what I mean by that, I think it's very, the ego is so powerful. Uh, I feel that happens a lot to different people. They go down this spiritual journey and they become awakened or enlightened or whatever you want to call it, and it's the money, the fame. You can see it. They get sucked back into the self. They may have this knowledge, but they're still here and they're still sucked into the duality. So that's what I was saying about the the every action has an equal or opposite reaction. We try to create this peace and this change, and by doing so, we create this immense utopia of this peaceful situation, and then you have one or a couple people that come along and don't take this to heart, don't prescribe to it, and all of a sudden the world is ablaze.
Get colds. Yes, I think of this, and I am very fucking. This is why I need a big social network. I must be susceptible to this. I am. Actualize.org has a video called "Cults: The Dynamics of Cults," and very helpful. But yeah, because I come from not much money, not much power. So as soon as I get money and power, I'm in danger of indulgence. So yeah,
it's all a drug. It really is. It's a drug of the feelings and the thoughts and everything. And yeah, I don't. Even after you're enlightened, I mean, I don't know. Are you free of that? I don't know. I can't speak on that, but
yeah.
it seems to me that there has been some greats before that have reached that point and either decided against it or for whatever reason, you know what I mean, just decided to reinvent the self or to go back to the self, if you will. I don't know.
If I really found out that either way it didn't matter, maybe I might just have fun and go on a joyride in many different ways. I might buy a load of guns. I might buy a load of frame and just go for it. Just go around. I could become a very dangerous individual. We all could. So that'll be interesting. Whatever happens, interesting. But I really want a big social circle. So as soon as people, it would have to be done systematically in a way that most likely produces omni. What's the one for love? I don't know. The implementation of meditation in education would have to be done systematically in a way that produces, because otherwise, when people if they realize that back to front, the egoic person realizing nothing matters at all, literally nothing matters, I'm not going to die. Maybe they'll go on a killing sprees and stuff. But perhaps, I'm not sure, because different realizations can happen before and after, right? So you might get the realization nothing matters before the realization of this is all love, I love, the realization of infinite love. So I think perhaps we'd have to teach infinite love before. I don't know. This is why I need a big team and figure all this out.
And I think to go that way, our schools might be late. We're born into the dualistic nature, so maybe organically through your family, being raised, being taught to see differently from the start, if you will.
Yeah.
Knowing no other way. But once again, is that possible? I don't know. Is this just a taught system to us? Um, I don't think it is, because you look back at the beginning, and you everybody has that fight or flight. Even the animals have that fight or flight. So the ego is there, the separation is there. It's In some ways it's a necessity, or at least we think it's a necessity, um, but it's part of this world. It is this world, the illusion of duality.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Um, I think that, like, maybe, I mean, the thing is, with something like I want to be doing, what I want to do, I know we just talked about doing, but is like, it requires extremeness. It requires extremity. So perhaps it would be like a 200-year plan, where it's like in the first 50 years we implement a much lighter thing. So like, I don't know, just very light, so that there's no point of transforming consciousness anyway. But from the point of view of the life on planet Earth, you know, it kind of matters, because otherwise we're going to destroy. So,
Well, it's the same. It's the same as the body. We're not the body. Um, what is the earth? I mean, think about it. I see us all as um, energy in a way, and energy never ceases to exist. Yeah, it may move, it may change, uh, but I don't know. That's a big thing right now. Is the environment and the earth and everything. And what can we destroy it? If we can, what is it?
yeah,
It's
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 like, uh,
it's all an illusion, man. I mean, and whatever it is always going to exist. So no, we can't destroy it. I mean, there is no we and there is no it.
it's crazy. Like, dude, I mean, it's only significant to that which depends on it, isn't it? And
Well,
if
definitely.
we identify only as something that depends on it, then I, I can't. I'd have no idea. I wouldn't want to do any of this if I didn't identify as a human. I don't think I wouldn't care. And also, like, the planet is just like this. It could be any size, like, like infinite scale. It could be like that size. Then that size is to something very, very, very small. It's just a massive thing. So what really matters, yeah, depends on what we identify as. But then
Definitely.
if we identify as infinity, then nothing matters at all.
It's yeah, nothing matters and everything matters. But yeah, I that's kind of the way I look at it. Is nothing really matters. Again, it just is. It will always be. Uh, I'm just going along for the ride.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Thing is, like, I think I'm finding it really hard to transcend the, like, the million. in my mind anyway, it's millions of years of like ape conditioning, worshipping the sun, and but then all of that is just an imagination. The thing is like actually I wasn't taught any of this. Like, I mean, I was taught all of this in that I didn't come out. I think it required me to watch videos about this stuff or read books or be in culture. Like, would I care about the world? Like, dude, like. Yeah. So the main thing, maybe I could just do what I'm trying to do here, but as infinity, knowing that it doesn't matter at all. But seeing as I am, this human is anyway, and it has all these like millions of years of conditioning, I could just do it all at the same time. I could just do and be. But I face lots of emotional stuff, like for which I need courage to dissipate. And honestly, right now, I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy to do this. So that's why I'm very frustrated today. Actually, I filmed it on a podcast. Camera's over there. So yeah. And right now, I'm clearly identifying as just this. But honestly, I don't think I am actually. I'm identifying as both of us. Right, okay, I wasn't then, but now I am. Identifying. Oh, no, I'm not.
This is what I was talking about, you can point and teach. And you can even know, but just because you know doesn't mean you are or understand. I mean, I've experienced this, what we're talking about, and yet I still have trouble with it at times. You know what I mean? And there's emotional times that we talked about and whatnot, and the pain. So it's one thing, reading it and teaching it and pointing it and knowing it, but it's a different thing being it. It's a different thing understanding it. And that's what I'm talking about. I don't know if we can teach that. I don't know how you teach that. I think it just happens or it doesn't. At least that's what happened with me. I don't know. But, I think there are things like we talked about that possibly help, but, meditation. And I don't know, just things like this, you know what I mean? Discussions and learning and reading and whatnot. I mean, I think it can help, but it's either going to happen or it's not.
Yeah.
I find it very odd that I said this before, I think at the beginning of the broadcast, that, I guess it was 2 years ago, about 2 years ago, I never heard of consciousness. I never heard of non-duality. I never heard of awareness. I never heard of any of this stuff. But yet somehow it smacked me in the face. You know what I mean? Somehow it just came to me. And then I started looking and there was a period where I just wanted to be alone. After I came back, I just wanted to be alone. And then I wanted to find others. There was a period where I wanted to find others. And when I started looking, well, then I started, reading some different things people were posting and different things. And I was like, wow, how do they know about this? You know what I mean? And I think some people come to it, reading it, and then, but how did I come to it?
Yeah, natural selection.
I don't know. I will say this is that for the longest time, I could not put words to what I thought or my experience, what I felt or anything. I still don't feel like I can do it very good. I still feel like I can't. But that's one thing a lot of others have helped me do is to articulate this better, uh, and hopefully that in a way that hopefully other people understand. Uh,
I think they will. The point of view, very clear. I'm very confused, to be honest. So, you know.